I'm Brian Gumbel. Katie Couric's in San Diego, where you also got a little work to do before you hit a weekend, right?
Yes, that's right, Brian. You know, you may have Martha Reeves and the Vandellas with you in New York, but I have Larry and Harry, a couple of wild and crazy guys from the Smithsonian. They've been here trolling for memorabilia that they're going to take back, possibly, to display at the Smithsonian, and we'll see what they picked up in this half hour, Brian.
To display at the Smithsonian?
Yeah.
Like somebody wants to come in and look at that hat you had?
I like this hat. Now, stop dissing my hat.
Well, it's not your hat, but I mean,
well,
do people really go to a museum to look at that?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, a lot of people are real junkies about this campaign stuff, and actually some of the stuff will end up there, some of it won't. We're going to take a look at all the different things they've come up with. It's interesting.
All
do
right.
you like political campaign souvenirs at all?
Not particularly, no.
Well, there you go.
No, but that's okay. That's all right. But anyway, keep your tambourine handy because Martha Reeves is coming along.
Now let's go back to Katie in San Diego.
Okay, Al, thanks so much. To some, it's trash, to others, memorabilia, but to officials of the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, it's treasure. A team of museum officials was here in San Diego this week, prowling the convention floor, trying to talk delegates out of hats, signs, pens, and other souvenirs of the Republican convention. Many of the items collected will be on display right after the election. And joining us this morning with some of their prized trinkets are Harry Rubenstein and Larry Bird. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning.
From the look of the tape, I can see why you all split up when it comes to trolling for these things. How tough is it, Harry, to get through this crowd?
Well, this was particularly hard. This was a very tight convention hall and not a lot of room. We also are carrying these portfolios to hold the material, so it's a challenge to get through the crowd. And then it's loud and noisy, so just to talk to anybody in that environment is tough.
And what you're doing, Larry, is you're trying to talk people out of giving you the goods. How tough is it?
It's pretty tough. And one of the ironies of this game that we play with the delegates is that we want it to mean something to them, and often that's what you can't collect, at that moment anyway.
How was this convention in terms of memorabilia? Good, so-so?
Well, it has its certain canned elements, but we collect that too. For example, we were in here early this morning to get ready for the show, and we got one of the go lights from the podium, which is sort of the traffic light for all of the speakers at the
Can you
convention.
just take that?
Sure.
Yeah, they don't care if you pick that up?
I don't know. Maybe they will now.
Yeah. Show us some of the other items that you all have collected.
Well, we have the standard, party noisemakers, and there's a wonderful vendor emporium upstairs above the hall that almost dwarfs the hall.
Really?
Where you can go shopping, and they sell things like the...
yeah, what is
this
that?
This is a popular item. This is a Clinton tear-apart doll. And you tear the head off of it.
Oh, how charming. And they have all different heads that you can use. They have,
it's a nonpartisan kind of a doll.
Oh, I see. They have Ross Perot over there. They have Mrs. Clinton, Pat Buchanan, even Bob Dole. So anybody can buy that.
But this was by far the most popular of all of the dolls.
Right. The other heads don't sell.
I wonder why. The Bill Clinton head. Tell me about this pineapple hat. Bryant seemed a little bit skeptical and wondered why anybody would want to keep this.
That sort of threw us for a loop because we were near the Ohio and the Hawaiian delegates, and we thought it was coming from Hawaii. Actually, it's Ohio. But there were about 30 or maybe 40 of these made up. It's a papier-mâché hat. It's something that's sort of interesting and unique. And
why a pineapple?
Well, it's Dole.
Oh,
that's the key.
I can't believe
well, they're searching for they're searching for a logo, and this is what they've come up with apparently.
Oh.
But this is something that suggests itself to the delegates that they themselves made, which is interesting and significant as opposed to the stuff that's just cranked out and put on the floor to be held up.
Now this sign was done by Senator McCain's daughter, right?
Right.
We love your daddy.
Harry collected that. It's a great
This
find.
is one of the few signs that we saw in the hall that was actually made by the person who was holding it.
Oh.
And so in the crowd, I noticed these children just holding up these signs. I had no idea what was going on or why these kids were being highlighted.
Or even whose kids they were.
Or whose kids they were.
You would think that she might want to keep this sign. She didn't?
She signed it.
She signed it and she gave it.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a sort of a nice feeling here when we approach people, and we're sort of the odd people out. There's hundreds of delegates, there's thousands of press, and then there's just us. And so I think we catch people by surprise.
And real quickly, will some of these things end up in the circular file? How will you determine what will really be displayed?
Anything that we've solicited a delegate for, we'll take and put in the collection. not necessarily on exhibit, but it will be part of the collection that we have. It goes back to George Washington and maybe even a little before.
Well, I'm glad you all had a good time. You got some good things there, and it's fun talking to you and having you show us the stuff.
Thanks.
Can I have this football?
No.
No.
Okay. Thanks, Larry and Aaron. Up next, Dancing in the Streets with Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. But first, this is Today on NBC.